Mr. Don Wells has sent a letter to his daughter, Summer Moon Utah Wells, as well as a letter to the persons who may have her. These letters have been held and scheduled to be posted in days to come. We ask the greatest respect be given these letters. Questions and answers from June 15, 2022 that apply now also. The media manager did not order these letters, but they were written by Mr. Wells on his own accord. These letters are not written to manipulate law enforcement or the American court system. Those individuals saying these statements and who choose to analyze these letters for nefarious reasons should, in the opinion of this editor, be avoided. There is a way to analyze that is humane. The letters will be displayed as received. We all realize that within 30 to 90 days, Mr. Wells will have fully completed his commitment to the Hawkins County court system. In less than 30 days, Judge Ross will look at the sentence and guide it accordingly. Anything currently posted on social media discussions about Mr. Wells in these days before early August and/or October 30, 2022, or immediately after, is speculation and rumor. Please settle in your hearts to let these letters speak for themselves. May we all allow what is written to nestle in our hearts, and our compassion as fellow human beings be our lighthouse.
When we held the first media briefing on June 16th, honestly, we expected to have good news to report by the time the next media briefing came around. At that time, no one expected that we would still be searching for Summer 1 year later.
To the person or persons responsible for kidnapping Summer, not only have you broken Summer's heart and taken her away from her mother and father, whom love her very much, but you've ruined her chances to become educated, ruining her life. You have also broke the hearts of her father and mother and brothers, and in the midst of all the commotion, ruined our lives. You see, the public blames us. I don't know if we'll ever find employment again. Nobody will hire my wife, and I've been fired from a job I've had for 13 years. We may end up losing everything. When you took our little girl, you took our very lives. Why don't you give our little girl back before God's wrath descends on you? You've broken many hearts, and more, especially an innocent 5-year-old girl's heart. One day, God will hold you accountable for this crime, unless you do something to make this right. Please, do the right thing and turn our daughter over to the authorities. We're begging you with all our hearts, please, do the right thing. Summer's father.
Hi, I'm Harry Sullivan. Thanks for joining us here in the WVLT newsroom. Wanted to give you an update in the search for Summer Wells. She's been missing for a year and just over a month, officially a year last month. But her father, Don Wells, releasing a letter from prison this morning, early morning hours, just after midnight is when we got this in. I want to show you what that letter looks like. It's a handwritten letter from jail, a little hard to read, but I'm going to sum it up best I can from what he said in this letter released from the Hawkins County Jail. I want to show you what he's in there for right now, in jail for a DUI charge as we speak. In the letter, Don Wells begging whoever could be responsible to turn his daughter over to the authorities, but of course the TBI repeatedly reporting that there's no evidence to support that family's claim. He specifically addresses the letter to the, quote, persons or person of interest in terms of who he thinks took his daughter. Last month, once again marking 1 year since the 5-year-old was reported missing from her Beach Creek home. Since then, there has been hundreds of different agencies across the country coming into Tennessee helping search for her. Thousands of acres of land have been poured over. The TBI has received more than 1,000 tips, but still no hard evidence has been released. Officials say they have not ruled her case as closed. That Amber Alert still remains active in the search for missing Summer Wells. We talked to the TBI today. They said, quote, plainly, we have no updates to provide other than to say the investigation remains active and ongoing.
We'd get on them a lot, and so you can't do that, but it just, you know, we'd always find it open a lot of times and stuff, and so we tried to control that, but to know, you know, they couldn't control it 100% of the time.
Don Wells tells me Summer was last seen going to the basement to play with her toys. Her 3 older brothers upstairs, her mother and grandmother in the yard facing away from the basement door, and Don Wells at work.
We don't know if someone was waiting in the basement or if she come outside here and went to the swing. All we know is she went down the basement.
Wells says he believes someone was lurking at the top of the dog trail, just feet away from the basement door. He says the predator somehow managed to snatch Summer, then raced down the steep hill as she struggled.
And you can slide a little bit.
So the dogs kind of came down this trail here?
Yeah.
It's pretty steep.
Yeah. I didn't know the dogs even had a trail down through here until the police dogs followed it all the way to the road.
Will says he overheard authorities say search dogs followed Summer's scent down the trail to the road before losing it. He painted a vivid picture of a kidnapping, telling me a neighbor likely heard Summer scream.
Look, guys, so the day Summer went missing, my children and I heard her scream quite a while before she was reported missing. And I was first on the ground looking for at least below.
I think whoever grabbed her probably had her mouth covered, and I think she was gasping for air by the time she got down through here somewhere, because our neighbor heard a scream, a really funny scream. I think they just carried her to a vehicle and threw her in there and took her somewhere far away from here.
Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson has not publicly commented on specifics of the case until now. I asked Sheriff Lawson about Wells' claims. Did dogs follow Summer's scent down the trail to the main road? The sheriff says yes.
The dogs had a pretty good trail, a track for a little while, but then it disappeared. But they lost scent when they come to the road. And sometimes canines, they will lose the scent when it changes different type, where they maybe went from the gravel to the pavement.
And did a neighbor hear a scream?
Best I recall, it's been a couple months ago, I think that was unfounded.
Don Wells is pleading for his daughter's return.
Whoever has her will have mercy, and please let her come home.
Everyone in Summer's case is still a suspect.
The following is just my thoughts and opinions only. I'm seeing a lot of speculation on YouTube about whether or not Dawn wrote this letter. And I don't know if Dawn wrote it. I can say that after listening to all of Dawn's interviews, drunk conversations, etc., that I do feel like these are words that Dawn would say. I also feel that Dawn could have relayed those words to somebody else and that other person wrote it. Maybe he relayed the words and somebody in jail wrote it for him. I don't know the answer. But I don't think that this is a fake letter by any stretch of the imagination. I do 100% think these are Dawn words. And if you look really closely at the actual letter itself, there are quite a few spelling mistakes and stuff that I could see Dawn doing. Now, another creator made an issue with the media headlines, that all the media is reporting that Dawn Wells writes letter to kidnappers. And, here, I'll just let you guys listen for yourself real quick.
So, yes, this gets me mad. I'm seeing the propaganda machine work. What can we do to fight back, if at all? Or should we? Should we just stay out of this and let it all play out? Should we stay out of this and let it all play out? The propaganda machine is swarming right now. Let me read some of these articles. I mean, these articles are unbelievable. That if you read the articles, read each article. Remember, the average reader of these articles are not on YouTube like us and don't follow the case extensively with us. So the average person that works a 9-to-5 job and comes home and sits behind the TV and watches the 5 o'clock news or reads their newspaper is picking up a newspaper and saying Dawn Wells pens letter to kidnappers, and their mind's thinking, oh my God, she was kidnapped and he's trying to reach out to his kidnappers for help. Do you understand what I mean? Do you understand what I'm saying here? Tim needs to validate who wrote that letter. He'll never say it, though. Watch. If anyone tries to reach Tim Mullen, he'll never say out of his mouth, could Dawn Wells told Tim Mullen to write this letter? Yeah. Don could have told him that. How often does Don communicate with Tim Mullen while they're in jail?
So I asked Jonathan during his live chat, what was really the issue, that I truly didn't see an issue with whether or not this letter was done by Dawn. And even if it was penned by somebody else, but the wording was given by Dawn himself, it's still a letter from Dawn. Or was the issue of the headlines? And Jonathan did kind of clarify that. And I see what he's saying. I think he makes a very good point. Majority of people only read a headline. So if they are seeing a headline, just like Jonathan said, of Dawn Wells Penn's letter to his daughter's kidnappers, well, then most people are reading that without even reading the article or watching the news segment. And they're saying, oh my gosh, she really was kidnapped. Well, we don't know that she was kidnapped. There is no evidence pointing towards that. The other thing that I had seen in many chats was an issue with, well, Dawn is just now doing this, just now saying this after 13 months. But to be clear, Dawn has always said from day one that he thought Summer was abducted. He's never wavered on that. So those are just my thoughts on this. Let me know what your thoughts are. I appreciate you watching.